Hello, beautiful human. You look stunning today. I'm so excited to be with you. Y'all know why we're hanging out. Today's interview is powered by our friends at State Farm. When you're looking for the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Please leave your honest feedback in the comments section below. If you like the video, hit like, and even if you hate us, please hit subscribe.
Let's do this. Zach Show.
But I got it.
You are so proud of that thing.
Dude, look at this.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on.
It's natural.
This is how we're starting the interview because we have to start from here. What is that?
It is a gourd.
Holy sh-
But I wonder if it organically grows this way or if they like strangle it around the base to get this different head here, you see?
That looks like
It-
I don't want to know that guy. I don't want to know that guy.
I saw it at the grocery store and I said I had to have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm sure. I'm sure you did say that. All right. Zach saying interview. It's 1,000. Here we go. Positions. Election. Action. Oh my God. I like the shirt this time. It's very like of the time. It's like very Beetlejuicy.
I tried to go spooky with it. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Ween. It doesn't feel like Halloween at all this year, and I'm very depressed.
Let's kind of morph into it because I wanted to start with Halloween. And when I think Halloween, I think a couple things. I think like Jack Skellington. I think Bette Midler. I think Ariana Grande.
Oh wow.
Very synonymous with the holiday.
Thank you.
What do you say? Does one celebrate Halloween this year in 2020, or do we forego it? Do we figure out a new way to celebrate? What do we do? We've been waiting for an answer.
I think the thing for me that is like most traumatic about this year's Halloween, I mean, of course, the pandemic, but also the fact that Halloween Horror Nights wasn't open this year really, 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 really is traumatic for me. Like deeply, deeply upsetting. I usually go like on both hands, I can count how many times a year. You know this. We know this. Like, Zach and I will walk through the mazes and the haunted houses and like the actors will be like, Ariana, how are you? And I'm like, what up, ghoul number 6? How's it going? We give a hug in the middle. They're supposed to be acting. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, this is my time. This is my, I feel like I can't, like this year is just now it hits. You know what I mean? Like, why? Of all the things that we couldn't we have just stayed at home for a few more weeks? Like all the other countries that were fine and are better than we are? Like, did we really all need to go to Saddle Ranch that badly that like we couldn't have waited for the deathly pandemic to pass? Like we all really needed to put on our cowgirl boots and ride a mechanical bull that bad.
It is
We all needed that Instagram post that badly.
But by the way, like it's those selfish moments that really put us in the place that we're in today. But along with Halloween, along with a brand new album for the world to escape in, we have Election Day coming up. So the power is with us. And you had a huge part with Headcount in getting a lot of people registered, but also educating them and mobilizing the next generation. It's rather spectacular. So
thank you. Yeah, it was cool to have Headcount on tour with me and to be able to register over 20,000 people. That like, you know what I mean? Like that's amazing. I just remember like my mom and Matt Bennett going to the booths before the shows and being like, want a picture? Well, sign up. Like it was funny. But yeah, I feel like that was such an awesome thing that we were able to do. And I don't know. I really hope that we're able to make a difference and take back our power this year. Very nervous. We're 17 days away now?
Yeah, it's 17 days, but by the time this comes out, it's going to be just a few days from Election Day. So if you haven't been able to vote already, vote in person if you can. But it's all connected here because the Positions music video not only perfectly captures the record, but you do have these obvious and sometimes subtle nods
Yeah.
to what we're all facing together. And one of the things that stood out to me that I really appreciated was you were putting a medal on a postal service worker
Yeah.
and a group of people that have been so wrongly affected over the last few months. But
Yeah.
you do take on this responsibility socially, right? And you do incorporate it in your art when you can.
I do. I think it's important too. And I think that I have kind of always been clear about where I sit with these matters and kind of like tried to work it in a way that is clear and definitive, because I do want the people that watch my work to know how I feel about the world and how I feel about women's rights and how I feel about people being treated equally, and why can't things look like this?
When I heard for positions for the first time, I never thought White House. I never thought presidential, but it shows the depth to that record, but also it really foreshadows the depth to the entire album, top to bottom. What are the different positions that make up your existence?
My existence.
Yeah, who you are.
Oh God, I don't know. Holy shit. I make songs sometimes. I am a dog mom. I am an editor, a producer, a vocal arranger, a writer, a dancer, a friend, a sister, a daughter, a girlfriend. I do a lot of shit. And it's like I have an amazing team and I work with a lot of really great people, but I control every single shot. Like I call every single shot. I control every little thing. And I used to not, and I used to be able to like pass things off and kind of trust people with other things, and then it would go horribly wrong. And now the only option is to literally fill every position. I look at my mom, like my mom's a CEO, an engineer, a mom, like the most fierce, baddest in the world. And I think that I learned a lot of that from her, because she does everything herself as well. Like they can't, and she has an amazing company and she has incredible employees and brilliant engineers that are manufacturing marine communication equipment. Do you know what I mean? Like all day long.
But she's a
But
part of everything, like
at the end of
literally
the day,
everything.
she has to approve every call, every shot, every position. She plays them all. But this has been a really, really fun experience putting this together and making this. And I think I love my cabinet in the video, my cast in the cabinet. Yeah, it's
Misha
been
in there. We have Tyler in the cabinet. We have Taylor. We have Victoria.
yeah,
Just an elite group of individuals.
yeah, a gorgeous, intelligent group of individuals that I love. And I believe that we should see more people in power who look and are like them and us and we. And it's like, how are we going to get this right for a country that is made up of so many different, diverse, beautiful people if the whole is being ran by straight white old men? Like that's just not that's not fair.
And by the way, you have no
like
empathy.
how will we get this right?
And most of those people, those heterosexual white men in power, lack any and all empathy, and they are selfish civil servants, when the reality is we need selfless civil servants to really be the ones representing us. It's
Yeah, or just anyone else. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
There's a lot
Sorry,
going
that was
on
such
here.
a long-winded answer.
No, it's perfect. And I'm really excited because we have a whole album to dissect here. And we are going to go track by track as much as possible.
Perfect.
Let's start at the top. Why was this the right time to give the world positions? And there's no way it wasn't a hard decision to make.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was hard for me to differentiate between like, is this an inappropriate time to release because of the state of the world, or is this the appropriate time to release because it's going to make a lot of people feel something bright and something better and be uplifting to people? And at the end of the day, I was like, I'm an artist. This is what I'm supposed to do. I've always kind of tried my very best to take situations and make my fans feel better and make myself feel better, make the world kind of like smile about it or learn from it or whatever, or turn it into art in some way. So I kind of was like, the project is ready. Let me try to make them smile, because I know I have seen them on the timeline worried about their lives and the state of the world all year, and we've kind of like, you know, I've been working and it's done, and I was like, you know what, this is like, everyone is aware of what's happening. I'm aware of what's happening, and this is also my job at the end of the day. And I know that in my heart, this will make a lot of people feel something good. And even just like the day that I tweeted, I can't wait to give you my album this month, the reaction like floored me to the point where I literally am choked up, because I was like, oh, this is like why I do it. Like, this is like, at the end of the day, like why my heart was like, okay, yeah, just drop it, just do it, just let's go, because of them and the love and how it feels and how special that is. It's like, really, I really am floored by that still to this day.
I gotta tell you,
Like, I had chills. I was like, am I on BTS? I was like, what is this reaction? I was like, holy. Anyway,
people are looking for light. It's obviously been a really dark time, and as somebody who's been soaking in this album for the last few weeks, it has been the lightest time in my life over the last 8 months or so. 80s.
oh, it makes me so happy. Thank you for saying that.
People are hungry for an escape from what we're going through. People want to soak in a story and live vicariously through music and just be removed from where they're at and close their eyes and just kind of go for a trip.
Yeah.
And
At the end of the day, I do have to remember that this is still my job. And like, I've been so like consumed with fear for the state of the world for like a very long time that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm still supposed to put out the songs and make the fun videos and make people smile. So let's just do it, you know?
How does that make you feel, knowing you have like the power and influence to make so many people in the entire world smile through everything we're going through?
I mean, I forgot that that's what it feels like, and that is in my hands. And when I started talking about the music again, that reaction kind of just like really made me very emotional and very, very grateful, and kind of like I was very emotional that whole couple of days. Like, I felt some type of way, and then I listened to the album 300 times because I was like, holy shit, is it good enough? I was like, wait, hold on. And then but yeah, no, it's a really terrifying but also beautiful thing. And I think that's the thing with the internet as well, is like, it can be so beautiful, and you can make so many important relationships and friends and fans and see them come together and form important relationships, and it's so beautiful. And then at the same time, you're scared that you're going to see someone misinterpret your work, and you're nervous about that and whatever. So it's a tricky thing, but I am super grateful for them and anyone who gives a shit about what I have to say or sing or write or share. And it's like such a moving thing in my life. Like, it makes me like, all right, you know, I need to hang up, you know. I feel like need to go call my therapist. It's overwhelming. Sorry, go on.
what goals did you set for yourself, vocally, creatively, personally, before embarking on this process?
No, I think the goal for this was to not only continue the story, because I feel like there's a through line with my projects now. I feel like there's a clear, oh, cool, you know, this is a person's life feeling that goes with it. To continue that through line, but also to sing a little more. I think I was very excited to focus on narrative and making fun bops for a little while, and I miss really singing more. I wanted to sing a little more on this one, and it felt nice to be creating from a more healed place, which is nice. I know a lot of people love Thank You Next and want me to always make something like that, I think, but again, I think that I'm happy that that was executed as well as it was, and I'm happy to not be in that kind of pain anymore and to be in a new chapter. So it felt really nice. I think the goal was to create something that felt more vocal and more healed as a reflection of kind of where I am at. And it's been almost 2 years since Thank You Next, so that's really cool, and also a long time for me, I feel like. So I'm grateful that people still care to hear what I have to say.
By the way, yours truly is where this story starts. And
Yeah, for sure.
it will take us all the way to Positions. Do you heal and then write the records, or do you only heal after you
It's
tangibly have
all
healed?
it's all simultaneous, and I think that that's kind of like evident when you hear like Off the Table, Heading into Safety Net, kind of that like fear about new love, and kind of like terrified that you're going to be the thing that holds this back from being a successful, happy, healthy love, and like, and that your trauma is going to be what contributes, so it's like, I think it kind of is hand in hand. I think the music and the healing go together. And I think that, of course, I had a year and a half without, or, to focus on just the healing and just make a little bit of music here and there throughout the tour, throughout the process, throughout that chunk of time. But yeah, I don't think one can happen without the other for me, which is nice.
Shut Up. Why was that the right record to start this album?
I think sonically it feels like an intro to me. And also kind of it sets the tone with like, hey, this is the level we're vibrating on. Let's rise above all the, let's celebrate what's good. Let's be who we are and say, shut up and block out all the, because let's embark on a fun, beautiful musical journey and tell everything else to shut up. It's like, I think that was sonically the right choice, and just the message I think is like kind of cute. I don't know.
Yeah,
And I love the connection between that and the 34-35. It's fun.
well, because it's like from a Disney princess. It's the start of this fairy tale love story.
Yeah.
The strings, by the way, in almost every record on this album really set this beautiful through line from top to bottom. And it's like, it sounds so sonically connected.
I am glad to hear you say that, because I wanted to start, this isn't actually what ended up happening, but with Shut Up it was, and with 34-35 it was, I wanted to start each song with just strings. So Peter would send me ideas and tracks that were just strings, and I wrote to those, and that was how we did it. Like, Peter would text me the strings, and like, we would start the song with just the strings, and then Tommy would go in, and Franks and Javi and everyone who worked on this project and would go in on the strings afterwards. So we would like get them and write to just the strings, which was a really fun part. But yeah, so me and Taylor and Mikey did Shut Up, and yeah, we just used all the notes on the scale, Like, we were like, how can we make something that's fun lyrically and then also like so musical at the same time, so that it feels like orchestral and sophisticated, but lyrically it's kind of just like fun and chill and like, yeah.
So good. When you're crafting a record, who are you thinking about? Who are you talking to? Because clearly you're saying one thing to someone or a group of people. You're telling them to shut up. Is there someone you're thinking about when you're writing it?
Yeah, I think Shut Up, because we want it to not be too like aggressive or preachy. It's just kind of like an invite to, act different and not spend so much time being negative and trying to not waste your energy talking about people you hate, or, so it's kind of about, I think, like haters in a way, but not really, because that sounds so corny, because it's not. It's about people who you feel badly for because they just live in the negative world, and you want them to just come hang with, me and Taylor and Mikey, and we, vibe, whatever, like whatever, or whoever fits in that circle, our circle. It's kind of just, yeah, leaving space for them to be better.
I just think it's the perfect way to start the album. You're basically saying like, here's me, here's my album, these are my stories. If you don't like what I have to say, like, worry about something else. Stop focusing on hating on me and everything else.
Oh, sure. Yes. I love that that's what Dan says it means. They said yes.
Well, it's true, because before
no, it totally is, but you just said it in a way that was so much more direct than me being like, oh, the spiritual realm in which we survive is like, shut up right now.
Well, yeah, because, the album gets like much more mature lyrically wise than your other albums. So to me, it's like, if anybody has hate on it or hating on what you're saying, you're like, go back to Shut Up and listen to what I'm saying. Like,
sure, exactly. So it's basically like, if you can't get past track 1, start over.
Exactly.
But it is truly the perfect start to this. The lyric that stands out to me, all them demons help me see differently, so don't be sad for me.
Thanks.
You're essentially saying you've made,
I wrote that part.
it is true, right? Like you do have a different perspective. We all do. Our perspective is built off of what we experience.
Yeah.
And there are some demons in the path behind you.
Oh yeah. Wouldn't stand in that wake.
Yeah. but it,
Steer clear. All. By all means. buckle up.
but it does affect how you step forward and how you navigate.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And you're grateful for it.
I am grateful. I'm grateful. I wish, some of it had not happened, of course. But I think that I am very blessed to have the people in my life that I have and friends like you and the escape that is making this stuff. And I do see things a little differently. I think I have a major, I have a level of gratitude just to even be here anymore that I'm just like, I'm good, all right.
34, 35.
Oh yeah, let's get in there.
I did the math on this and I do believe it.
Did you use a calculator, Zach?
Yes, I ran out of fingers and toes.
You guys want to hear something embarrassing? I didn't do the math and I didn't realize what the numbers were until the very last line of the song.
No, that's perfect. That's the experience that I want you to have. I love that. Please.
Well, why is this record important to the overall story you're telling in this album?
Oh, because I just think it's ridiculous and so funny and stupid. It's absolutely absurd. It was just a fun thing. Again, we heard the strings that sounded so like Disney and orchestral and full and pure. And I was just like, yo, what is the dirtiest possible, most opposing lyric that we could write to this? And I was sitting with Scott Nicholson the night that I started writing it. I was sitting with Scotty. And we basically, Scotty wrote the Give Me Them Babies line, which is my favorite thing in the world, is that Scott Nicholson is a writer on 34, 35. And maybe so. He was like, I was like, what comes after, I think I'm crazy, way I've been crazy, if I put it quite plain. And Scott was like, just give me them babies. And I was like, and he was like, I'm joking. And I was like, no, it's to print. We're doing it. It's done. It's perfect. Yeah, but it came up as a total joke. And then I fell in love with it. And then, Taylor and Victoria came and we wrote the bridge together. And, it was so much fun. And it was we finished it. We started it last year. And then we finished it months and months and months later when I was like, oh, this needs to be on the album and it has to happen. And it was the night after that big earthquake, scared the shit out of me. And I was like, 4.5, and I made the magic. And it was after the 4.5 one. So that's why that lyric is there. Friends were like, wouldn't it be more than a 4.5? I feel like he's way stronger than 4.5. And I was like, yes, but the earthquake last night. Anyway. Sorry, I'm telling you the whole story of how everything came to be.
What do you think we're here for? I don't want to say the earthquake is the reason why, but it is the reason why we have that line. But what do you have the rest of the album and then go, there's a hole to fill and we happen to have that one song that we did a year ago?
Yeah.
Could be perfect?
So the way I kind of like to move when I'm making stuff is I like to jump around. I don't like to finish things right when I start them. Like if I have a verse and a hook, I'll be happy and then I'll be like, okay, let's start something new, or okay, let's do the second verse and then come back and blah, 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 blah. So I like to just kind of, when the ideas are there, go. And then when I feel like I'm working, when I feel like I just like to bounce around until something else comes up and that I hear something else that I like, and we'll start other ideas. And then at the end, we go back and we finish them.
Interesting. How do you know that it was time to hit pause on 34, 35? At what point did that song end and then you picked it up?
Oh yeah, when my mom got there.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She was like, hi, Ariana. And I was like, Billy, pause.
Can you talk about putting that verse together, the riding verse, the earthquake verse? How fun was that, building out those lyrics?
It was so much fun. Also, the thing about getting me, Vic, and Taylor in a room together is I mean, it's just so fun, but also it's magical. Like when three besties sit down who like know a lot about each other's lives and what
Intimately know each other. Like,
oh yeah, very intimately. I don't really work with people that I don't have a real friendship or relationship with, or that I don't feel immediately like connected and obsessed with. You know, I've been working with Victoria and Taylor since the first album. Like it's not even, and it's so much more than that. Like these are two women that mean so much to me. So it's so much fun. And my friend was there. My friend tagged along and was like, it took us like 30 minutes and to write the bridge, and Chase was like, you guys are, first of all, ruthless. Second of all, that was the most fun. Like he was like, I can't believe that happened so quickly. And yeah, but it was really fun. But yeah.
do you channel a different side of yourself for records like this, or is it all just one? Obviously it's the different positions.
Yeah, I think the thing about this song that has been my fear since the beginning is that it would distract from the like vulnerability and the sweetness that is the rest of the album. It's very loving, it's very honest, it's very much a reflection of parts of my life, but also, you know, it's just a fun song, and it deserves a home on the album for sure, and that deserves to be written about for sure. But yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of like, I think that everything I do kind of has a little bit of humor in it for sure, and I think that people know that I'm not really like
Making somebody strap in.
sitting here till dawn, you know, like I'm not really, you know, unless they really think that, in which case I hope that they work on that. You know, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't know. I've been very nervous about this one because I don't want it to distract from the rest of it. But I do love it. And sonically, it's like one of my favorite things we've ever done.
Let's go from a song that has humor to a song that, in my opinion, has no humor, but I can't listen to it and not cry. Off the Table.
Oh God, what a jump.
Yeah, totally different.
I'm
But
here.
I've heard the song so many times now, and I cannot get through it without, I don't know, it's just such a beautiful song.
Thank you. Dan,
That
have you heard it?
What?
Have you heard it?
Of course.
Okay, good. All right. Just want to make sure.
Was there an actual moment in your life where you genuinely thought that like love might not be possible again?
Yeah, I think that you fear that when you experience certain things and you go through like really traumatic. I think that your mind, you know, this wasn't written from a 100%. This is really how I feel, but that fear is something that exists, of course, in your head when you let the trauma part of your brain take the command seat. That of course exists, and your brain is constantly telling you, no, you don't deserve this, or no, this won't happen, or no, yes, this person is too good to be true, or yeah, you will you know, be kind of just frozen in this period of recovery for the rest of your life. There are moments where that traumatic, the PTSD part of your brain takes the command seat and tells you those things. So I think this was written from that place and not from a real, I'm in my right mind and I know that I deserve love place. It was just from a fear place, but it deserves to be expressed, and I think it deserves to come out. And I think that once you write something, it kind of goes away a little bit as well. I think that expressing it made it feel so much less legitimate.
Yeah, I understand. It's like an insecurity that you have. That's not, you're kind of saying it's a fear, but by
Yeah.
getting it out into the world and writing it, the fear loses its value, and you realize how ridiculous the fear is, and then you're able to open yourself up to love, or at least look for it.
Yeah, it's like when you share it with someone and they have a reaction that is like comforting and supportive, and oh, this is a beautiful song. You're like, it's a beautiful song. You're like, oh, okay.
The song does start with fear and you questioning it, but by the end, and April comes in, the song kind of ends with this human being reassuring you that no
Yeah.
matter what your baggage is, they're there to carry it with you.
Yeah. He played the role of the perfect, you know what I mean? Kind of like dream reaction to a fear like that being expressed.
Reality, right?
Yeah, I kind of gave him a little sum up of my, we caught up for a while and talked about life and everything. And he kind of, I think, wrote his verse from a perspective of like a person that would be filling, certain shoes, and what I've heard that has felt nice. It's nice. I think he did a great, phenomenal job writing that.
Is it hard to put that into a song? Like, how'd you know
Yeah.
you were ready?
I didn't know anyone was ever going to hear it. So I just kind of was sitting in my room. It was during quarantine and towards the very beginning. And I just had set up my little home situation. And a friend of Matt Bennett's, Shintaro, had sent me a little folder of beats. And he's amazing, by the way. He worked at the Apple Store, at the Genius Bar, I think, or I think he was giving lessons on how to work, like make beats and stuff.
Cool.
Like, I think he was the guy that like you go into the Apple Store and be like, oh, I want to make something that sounds like Robin Thicke, and then he'd like show you how to make something that sounds like that. And but yeah, he's a really brilliant producer, and he sent me a pack of beats, and I pulled it up and I wrote a verse and a chorus, and I sent it over to Abel, and I said, is this okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna write the second verse. And I was like, okay. And so that was just how it felt, and it was just a very intimate moment and writing process between two friends.
Does a song like that only happen after being alone with yourself for quite some time? Because it is it's very reflective. No, like if you weren't going through it in that moment, you're thinking back. Or
I think there's always a feeling at the beginning of creating something where you're like, is this for me or is this for people? And this was one that I think was kind of on the line. I didn't know, but then it felt really beautiful, and my mom's reaction to it was really beautiful. That made me very emotional, and I felt like it was the perfect kind of centerpiece in a way to the album, because it does, again, make every other song on the album make so much more sense. It's like, okay, we start here and we start with a crush, and you start with the fun sex and the, ooh, what's your motive? What's your, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then it gets to this real point where you're like, oh, wow, I could be falling in love with someone. Is that even an option for me?
You?
Yeah. And then you go into, I think 6:30 is next, and you're like, well, are you down? What if I lose my, what if I'm old and crazy? And then you go into Safety Net, and you're like, oh, here we go. I'm really here, falling for real. This is happening again. I didn't think it could, and it is. And then, and then it's like, I think it's a pivotal point on it. I think, I don't know.
No, it is a huge moment in the overall story that you're telling. Do you know what that story is? And do you realize that story only after the album's done?
Oh, no. I mean, of course it's nice to see it come together and make sense for strangers or for other people listening, or for people who aren't living through these experiences. But to me, it's clear because I'm making songs that are coming from a real place. And, I'll be like, it's like, that's the process. I wouldn't, it's like, I could sit here and you could give me a word and I can try to make a song about a word, but it's not going to be as good as if I sit here and I make a song about some real thought that I had,
Wow. The strings on this record, it hit me, and I think Off the Table and Myron are actually connected in some weird way. Did you hear the song?
Myron was sitting underneath my feet when I wrote that. So yeah, he doesn't leave me alone much, but I think he loves that song. I think he also loves chewing my headphones and sitting right next to me as I'm working. And yeah, he's a little angel. He doesn't leave me alone much. I'll go to like brush my teeth first thing in the morning, and he'll come with me and sit under the sink and like look up at me. It's very sweet.
Oh, and
a little angel.
I love the dogs at the end of the music video, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
But not all of them, like not even half of.
I know. I wanted it to be realistic, but not like me slipping in the snow. You know what I mean? Because there was fake snow on set, and I was like, I'm going to die if Lafayette is added to this, and like Cinnamon is here, and there's like all these dogs. So we did a little group. Yeah.
How many?
Lafayette has to be in the next one. She has to be in some video at some point.
Do you have 8?
I lost count a long time ago.
Okay, got it.
Is Off the Table, would you say that's one of the most personal songs you've ever written?
It's hard to top Thank You Next because it's so much more straightforward. But I think it's different because I'm kind of the only one in there. It's just me and Abel who wrote it, so maybe. But I don't think so. I don't know. They all have so much of me in them that I don't know. I don't really like to be like, is this the one that means this? And I don't know. I think they all kind of fit in a puzzle somehow.
How do you know it was time to share this story though? Because something has to
No,
happen.
actually, Dan, I do have an answer for that. I think 34, 35. I'm joking. I'm kidding.
6:30.
Well, the reason I'm asking that is just like everybody knows like what you said, you've been through a lot in your life, and this one you're kind of putting it all out there for people to kind of hear your story firsthand.
Am I? Now I'm scared.
I think it's a good thing.
Oh,
Don't worry. Do you have a question, or are you just gonna say shit, Daniel?
yeah. Do you have a question, or are you just gonna instill fear in me and trigger my anxiety while we
But
sit here?
isn't that what you want? Is tell your story?
No, I don't fucking know, dude. I just want to sing and make people happy and say songs, and I don't know.
All right, well, forget I said that.
I don't think about that. If I wanted to share my story, I'd do more of this shit, but I only talk to you two.
All right, well, forget, scrap that.
I'm joking. It's
No, and I want everybody, and everybody should know that, you know.
yeah, but it's also like yes, in a way, yes, because it's like I do want some control over what the narrative is, but at the same time, you know very well that I don't like to spend too much time thinking about that because it's scary.
What does 6:30 mean?
6:30 is like 6:30 on the clock. Down? Are you down?
Oh,
You're like down.
the position of the clock points down.
Yeah.
I was literally like, does the sun set at 6? Does the sun set at 6:30?
No, both the arms are facing down. I'm really happy this album has thrown you for a loop, Zach, saying your brain is burning over there.
That makes a lot.
I'm so glad. That this profound body of work could really make you short circuit. Like,
Dude, it's made me think, and I really truly have spent a lot of time with it, so I am dissecting all of it. You do need somebody to play video games with you at 2 a.m. Do you have that right now?
yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, congrats. That's a big
Yeah.
deal.
But we're asleep by 11:01 or by like 10:01. We're old. I'm old. I'm an old person.
Back in the day, Ariana would be up at probably like 1 o'clock playing video games. No more.
I can't do it anymore. I'm
Really?
tired. Oh yeah, I'm exhausted. Also, I think the amount that I have worked on this year that was supposed to be my off year is like crazy. I've like never been more nonstop in my entire life, and it's like kooky. I think because like once I made the decision that I wanted to put something out, I was like, okay, now I need to shoot 76 videos, do 76 photo shoots in the middle of a pandemic. I need to get everyone tested 300 times a week. I need to put together these mixes, approve all these masters, and I have notes on everything. I'm not happy with anything. I need to make sure everything is perfect. I need to da-da-da-da. And I think I just kind of like drove myself a little crazy for a while. So I think I was like, by the time we were both home from work and done, I was just kind of like, we both were like, okay, good night. We were both like, okay, we're in bed by 7, watching Netflix until 10 and then sleeping, you know, like old people routine. This is all that happens.
Do you realize that you want to put out an album only after the songs are done, or do you go, I'm going to put out an album and then start creating?
No, I see a list of like things that I know I would want to be on an album. Even if they're unfinished, I know that there are titles like of things that exist in my head. And once I see like 10, I'm like, should I start paying attention to this? Do they go together? Is it cohesive? Does it make sense? And then I'm like, oh wow, we're onto something. And then like, it happens. You don't realize, you know, like I'll just look at Tommy. We got a little whiteboard in the studio and we write on it and keep lists of like what we really love and make like a little to-do list of what's left to finish on them. But once we're in the double digits, I kind of look at Tommy and I'm like, are we here again? And that's always a very exciting moment. And yeah, that's kind of when you realize
that you have something, but only when it presents itself. Like you
yeah,
don't set out with a goal, you set out
no,
just to create, and then eventually it
no,
appears.
yeah, yeah.
Skirt skirt is a language unique to you. There's a lot of
I don't think so. I don't think that is true.
no.
I would say that that's not true.
Oh,
Skirt, skirt.
Dan is laughing at me. Am I not cool enough to know who else uses skirt skirt?
I feel like that's a commonly used thing in rap songs, and it's an ad lib for some rappers as well. You know, they're like skirt. You know,
No.
I think it's around, Zach.
Okay,
I think
sorry.
we don't coin that one as an Ariana Grande phrase at all. I think
Well,
we I think we back out of there quick.
what do you coin?
I like the nods to the other albums lyrically that are kind of like they're kind of trickled throughout the album. I purposely kind of try to tie in certain phrases that reflect and tie in other records to make sure that there is a through line, and that I did it with Sweetener and Thank You Next as well, just to like kind of like wink at the other songs and continue the story and kind of like show the evolution of how situations have evolved and how certain feelings have evolved and changed. So I did a lot of that this time. There's a lot of them. Some of them are more obvious than others, but yeah, one of my favorite ones is in Safety Net, and is a real dance more, is it in my head? I like the in my head reference. I like little things like that.
I love it because one day or even today, somebody can sit down and listen to most, if not all, the albums, starting with yours truly, and really be able to see a human being progress and grow and evolve.
Sure. Yes.
It feels like one.
Side to Side was very meaningful.
Bicycle. That you can coin. I don't think anybody else used
That, Dan, I think is the one where it's the most personal. Well, you know, you asked me before, that is off the table, the most personal record I've ever written. I think it's Side to Side.
I can see
It's
that.
a really tough. They're neck and neck, but also shout out to everyone that still is surprised when I'm sexual. It's so funny and it makes me really happy.
We talk about, well, there's a few here. I really want to talk about Just Like Magic because you bring up manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in that?
Yeah, I think that's super real. I think that what you put out and what you focus your attention on is what expands, for sure.
Do you think manifestation played any role in your journey now, or to get you?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think that there is a certain way to look at things, and when you know bad things happen or when things get really tricky, it's hard to still look at them that way, and you still kind of have to try your very best to and learn about restriction and learn about channeling the right mindset and really try. And it's hard as and it's like so complicated and hard, but everything you do, I think, kind of contributes to the life that you create yourself.
Oh yeah.
Like every thought that you have, and it's hard because again, it's like we live in a world where we're taught to hate ourselves constantly. So it's like, it's really hard, but it's like every single thing I think that you think about yourself and others and how you react to things, what you choose to think about, what you spend time talking about. It's like, I think it all plays a part somehow. I don't know. I just, back to more manifestation, like if we're going really there, because I kind of went off the rails a little bit. But my mom always taught me that if I want something, it can happen. Like it's absolutely possible, and to never act like it's not. And I think in a way that's kind of manifestation. It's like you think about it like it's already there, and it is. But I was taught that since I'm 4 years old. I was 4 years old and they called 411 to ask the lady who worked at the front desk at Universal, probably the theme park, probably not even the studio, if I could audition for all that, you know? And then I was on Nickelodeon. That was like my first, you know.
Yes, yes, it is true.
I do think it's real because I think that that's how I'm here at all. I think my mom taught me that.
I totally agree with you.
What's a great thing to tell your 4-year-old? It's like, you can do anything you want, you know?
And by the way, that hit me in my life at the age of 10, and it impacted my path. Even from that age. It's
You were the youngest rock star, radio host, entrepreneur. How old were we when we started doing this together? You were what, 15?
yeah, we
You
had
had your own radio show on a million stations when you were 2 months out of the womb.
a fetus.
Right off the press, couldn't even speak. You're like, I'm Zach saying on the radio.
Say it's. Well, you want to go? I was going to quote from the song, one of my favorite lines,
Go
one
ahead,
of my favorite passages from
You go
the
first.
album. Say it's tricky at the top. Got to keep a slim ego for a thick wallet.
So bad.
Losing friends left and right, but I just send them love and light. It is a realization that you need to be a kind person to achieve something.
100%. The minute you start being a tool, that plug is being pulled.
Kindness.
It might take a while, but you're pulling the plug on yourself. The minute you start treating people weird, the I don't know, the runners and the first ADs and the yelling at people, the minute your plug is getting loose and you're, like pulling, it's not, you gotta be nice to people. You gotta be grateful. You can't see one achievement as a indication of anything. Like you can't accomplish anything and see that as like, I'm different and I can act different and I don't have to work as hard now. And no. It's a complete opposite.
By the way, like that's a really valuable lesson that you don't actually learn until you're maybe put in the position. like to have a great success, like you don't.
When you have songs and then you can't hear certain words anymore?
Yes.
They're like, I have a problem. And I'm like, I hear the intro start and that I should be in my place ready to go like this. Like I have like trauma for all of these songs.
The Ty Dolla $ign collaboration is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, it was the only song on the album that
I was clearing my throat, not saying, yeah, it is. So thank you. I was clearing my throat, but it sounded like I was like, yes, it is.
How does this collaboration with Ty Dolla $ign actually come to be?
He walked in, but he just walked in and loved what he was hearing. And I was like, well, this is a perfect time and place for us to do something together. And I've always wanted to. I'm a big fan and he's a great guy and I've always wanted to. And so it just happened to work out. I think he just kind of sat down and loved what he was hearing and was like, let's do this together. And I was like, yeah, that's great.
Well, the record is, the entire album is very much present, but it gives me a timeless feel. Safety Net, it's like feels very old school R&B, but in the best possible ways.
Thank you. That's my wet dream.
Tripping, falling with no safety net, all over the sky. You're questioning if this love is real. At this point in life, do you even know? Like, do you have a test? Do you have a gauge?
How do you know? Well, you don't, but you do. Your heart, your gut, your friends and family, I trust the people around me a lot. They've always, in the past, when I've been in something where it's not gone the way everyone has wanted it to go for me, they've always been like, hi. Yeah, that. You've been one of the people. So it's like, yeah.
Your gut. You learn to trust your gut over time. Yes?
Oh, or yes, but also like you can't, when you're a person with anxiety and depression, there's this like weird thing. There are times when you can't differentiate between your gut and your trauma and your fear and your anxiety and your PTSD. And you're like, who's lying? Which one?
Yeah.
So it's a tricky thing, trusting people and whatever and blah, blah, blah. But there's a time when you do feel safe and it clicks and you're like, and, trust is a big thing. And I think that song kind of is a very accurate depiction of what that fearful stage of falling in love feels like.
From that into My Hair, I'm obsessed with this record for so many reasons because vocally, it's unlike anything I've ever heard from you. You go the deepest vocally that you've ever gone. Like it is so good.
Oh, thank you, Fredo. Fredo goes from in the corner. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. It's like at this point, I've done a lot of shit. I want to keep it fresh and exciting. I want to use all the parts of my voice I can. I want to have fun and just make records that I feel like I haven't made before. And yeah.
Your hair is so, I don't understand why it's attracted so much fascination throughout the years.
It sure has.
it's unlike, I mean, it's so wild to me. From the Red Velvet Red to the ponytails, you have somewhat publicly been defined by your hair, but
Yeah.
also in life, hair is intimate. Hair is personal.
Yes.
But-
No, it definitely is, especially when your hair kind of is something that you use to differentiate. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the red was Cat, and that was very much a character, and that was very much a portion of my life that I love and I am so grateful for. And I look at it and I love it, and I see red and I'm like, red hair, and I'm like, oh my God. And I think fondly of that, but it again is not me. And then I see the journey that it's been to, I did put your hearts up with red hair, and that felt weird. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like I felt like it was keeping me in everyone thinks I hate that record. I do not, but I do consider it a transitional part of my life. That's why I never made to an album or anything, because it's like I didn't feel like that was an accurate reflection of who I was as an artist or a person.
And
I was
hair
like, okay,
to that, by the way.
yeah, I was like, this is a confusing time. This also was a song written during a writing camp when I was writing songs for Victorious, and it's heavy, and it kind of ties me to that. So then what do you do when you're an actress on a television show who's trying to also pursue a music career simultaneously because you're insane and can't wait? You dye your hair back and forth every weekend. So there was the dyeing my hair brown on the weekends, and Brian and Scott would come and hang out with me while I got my hair dyed, and then we would shoot a music video on an off day, and then I would dye it back and be up all night bleaching my hair to go back to work on Monday. And then by the time we did Sam and Cat, we had wigs and it was easier. But then the ponytail, and then it's all been kind of like associated with different chapters of my life. And my real hair, which is the humongous curly poof, is kind of, I don't know, I say so few people get to see it, and it's cute, and it reminds me of me as a kid, and it reminds me of, it's who I am privately. And but so is this. I wear my ponytail all the time too, but the curls are definitely something that I don't bring around much. But I think that's kind of what I envisioned that song being about, is because it's like such an intimate thing, is to be just like curly shower head. And yeah, and my boyfriend loves it, and he's like, girlies, yay. So it's like a very intimate thing, and I think that's kind of what that is about in a way, because like you said, the hair for me is such a guard character facade type thing, and it's had its own evolution, but it has always been like this kind of like costume piece. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yes.
Any sense? Am I making any sense?
You are making a ton of sense.
But at the same time, I do love my ponytail. It's like if I would choose to wear it like that, I would, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know.
It's like a uniform to work, dude. It's not.
It's hard because it's like, it's me, but it's like, okay, there's another me. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, there's a curly shower head me that looks exactly like my baby videos, you know?
Would you ever start wearing your hair naturally, like with the curls?
I think I would. I think I have a hard time marrying it to the music for me, because I have kind of created this persona and this thing and this, I think, I don't know if I love it for work. Does that make sense?
Yes. There's, I mean, it is the same Ariana, but there's a different.
Yeah.
There's a difference between the two. Like,
and I like that. I think I like that for now. I mean, maybe there will be a phase in my life where I'm like, oh, this makes sense for this project. I should rock this for this project. But for now, I think it's like a really nice private separation, like degree of separation that keeps me kind of like, yeah, this is separate, and the things that you see are separate, and it isn't your reality. And it's like there is this time where you do get to take the character off. Does that make sense?
totally.
Because it's like you see a lot, and it's just, to be a person who does what I do is a blessing, but it's also kind of weird. And I think there are times when I'm really grateful for that degree of separation. Although it is such a blessing, and I am grateful to be in the position I'm in, it does feel nice to have like this grounding thought of like, yeah, that's not reality. Your reality. I don't know. It's so much more than hair. I'm talking about way much more than hair. Sorry.
Yeah, but it is all connected to
No,
your hair. It is
real-
all. It is all connected to your hair, truly, because it's like the thought of like let your hair down. This is like just you're taking off your work uniform. You're becoming a different person, but also
Yeah.
the same. It's a different version of you. It's like at home.
That picture of me being like at the end of the day, like
You hang it up like right by the door or something.
yeah. I'm like, yo, Myron.
POV, one of my favorite songs from this album, and personally and a little selfishly, the record made me really adjust what I'm looking for in a partner, because it's a love song that opened my eyes as opposed to making me jealous of love or sad of somebody's love. It was really hopeful and slightly empowering, and I don't know, it made me realize what I should be expecting in a partner, which is a
Yeah.
big deal.
Well, it's a tricky one because it's also like, of course you love yourself before you're able to fully love someone else. Of course. And this isn't really about that in a way. It's just kind of about, you know how everyone has the little things that you're like, ugh, how could you like that? You know? And you see someone who you're madly in love with, love that. And you're just kind of like, I'm floored. Like I'm like choking up. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oof. I want to feel that, you know? And I kind of was like, wow, I don't think that's a song that's been written. I was like, I'd love to see me from his point of view. And then I was like, let me text Taylor real quick. and then we made it, and it feels really special. And I've never thought that before.
Yeah, you have to experience this in order to write it. Correct?
Yeah, and I think it feels really special because I don't know many songs that have that concept, and I don't think they are there. And I think that a lot of love songs exist already, and to write one that feels like new and like a new piece of information and a new point of view, for lack of not saying a bad pun, it feels really like special. And so yeah, I don't know, that's a very special one. I adore Taylor. I love writing with her, creating with her. It's so special.
With the more and more success you have, do you find yourself questioning everything you release more or less?
I think I have to remind myself that I need to not put the pressure on myself to outdo what I've done or make it about things like that, because it's not the point of being an artist. It's not why I started singing. It's not, you know what I mean? So I was just as happy singing in gay bars after a show of 13. And, that it's about singing. It's about loving music. It's about how it feels to sing. It's my gift. And that's what I need to keep reminding myself I'm a storyteller, I'm a singer, and that's my job. And the rest of it, I can't get wrapped up in, because I know that certain moments that have happened are what they are, and I just need to worry about making new moments that are, of course I want to challenge myself to continue to grow and continue to evolve and make things that aren't, that are new. But also I don't want to put pressure on myself to outdo something in a, you know what I mean, other than just performance and what I have to offer people. I can't put that pressure on myself because it'll make me sick. It'll ruin the point of art. It's like, I know that a lot of people do care about those kinds of things, but I can't, because I know it'll make me unhappy, and I know that it'll kind of blur the point of all this for me.
So what is success to you? How do you measure it? How do you look for it? Success is different to each and every one of us.
Yeah, it's very, very, very different. I don't know. I think for me, it is really cool to have number ones and to have a Grammy that is currently sitting in a pile of yarn in my closet. It is amazing, and I'm grateful for acknowledgement, for achievements like that. And it means a lot, and I'll always say thank you, and I'll always be celebratory of those things, of those moments and achievements. But I think, to me, I am successful by being able to make something that I'm proud of and sing, and I love, you know what I mean, what I have to offer. I'm proud of it. I am proud of what I make. I'm proud of my voice, and I love my fans. That is success, is having them and my family, my friends, my dogs, and having love and having, you know, going to sleep feeling grateful and snuggling at the end of a long ass day and having that to look forward to is like success. You know, it's like, that's real, you know?
Yeah, it's real. It's real. It's more
Love,
than just numbers.
love and being proud of yourself. And that's a really, really, really major accomplishment. I think that like the rest is distracting and can make you feel sick and yucky. I hear a lot of shit. I see a lot of shit, and I try so hard to not engage with it because I want to deliver and I want to make people proud, and I know that numbers matter to the labels, to the fans, to the things, to this, and like all of that is important to a lot of people. But at the end of the day, I need to, in my heart, success is just everything I've had since the beginning. Like love and the ability to sing and tell a story. I'm happy, you know?
Yeah. What you're saying is the truth. I believe that you would have still created this album even if nobody was on the other side listening, because it just needed to be done. And I think you would still sing even if there was just 10 people in the room as opposed to 10,000.
I did sing when there was 4 people in the room, and 3 of them were Frankie and 1 of them was my mom. You know what I mean? And that was, I don't know what the that meant, but I'm so glad it came out.
The most meaningful part of your life, I am sure, is to lose to success.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, like, it's not every day that a dog just ends up on the side of a bus.
I raised Chaloops, you know, that's a different level of success, actually.
You're right. Wow.
Now that I'm into it.
Speaking of performing, have you even thought about a possible tour for this album, or is that not even on your mind with everything going on?
No, it's I don't think it is. I mean, I don't think people are going to be touring till 2022.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a possibility, and I don't think I would feel safe. I don't want to put my fans in danger. I think we need to really look at this, and no one knows what they're doing, and the way this pandemic is being handled is who knows, and I don't see it in the cards. Also, I just got off tour last year, so I think that I kind of liked doing Sweetener and Thank You Next and then touring both together. So maybe after whenever the next one happens, which will not be soon, but and the pandemic sorts itself out, maybe that would be a good time to start thinking about it. But I think that just the state of the world right now is not safe. It's not a safe time for people to be traveling and going to shows and being around. You know, it's not realistic. I don't know why people are like pretending that their tours are going to happen right now. They're like delaying to the summer, and I'm like, yeah, good luck.
What is the most rewarding part of crafting an album?
I like driving around and listening to it and being really fulfilled by it. Like, that feeling is really exciting. And Ray liking it. when Ray loves it, and we're like driving in the car together, like from appointment to appointment, and Ray's like, like work. Then I know I've made something good. No, I think seeing like a playlist form in your phone is cool. That's exciting
because it's your own stuff.
Yeah, the whole process is really nice. Like seeing the visual fall into place, and you work on it hard and you edit it hard, and when everything is kind of done and coming together, and you think about and you look at it alone, that's nice. And then when you think about sharing it with other people, you start to spin. Well, I do anyway. I'm like, holy shit, it's real now.
Motive. A record that to me sounds, again, like a lot of this album, it is very present, but still nostalgic and timeless. There's like a disco funk there. It really, it slaps in the right way.
I met Murda through Wendy Goldstein. She connected us, and I love his work. I think he's super talented, and I wanted him to kind of like try new for me, I think. And so I sent him a little playlist of like some diva music to listen to, and Vogue was kind of like the leader of the playlist. And he sent me a beat called Vogue, and that was kind of the inspiration. And I think it's so cool that someone like him made that beat, you know?
Murder, like the Murder that does like Drake and some of the Migos stuff, like that Murder.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool. I would
I
never.
was like, yeah.
No, go ahead. I just didn't expect him to make that beat, which is awesome.
No, I know, me neither, which is why I was like, hey, like, you're sick. I'm obsessed with everything that you've sent, and like, you're so talented. I was like, what if you tried to do something that you've never done before, never thought of doing before, something that someone could vogue to? And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, and I sent him a couple things to listen to, and it was fun. It was in quarantine. We were both kind of like trying to inspire each other, and he knocked it out of the park. And I think it's always so exciting when you push each other to try new things, and someone can push you and you can push them, and it makes something refreshing.
Why was Doja the right person to help bring in the life?
Felt it in my bones. I was just like, ooh, she's gonna eat this. It's just such a specific space to occupy. It's like voguey, and B, it's kind of is more like slow. So I don't know, it's hard to just have a couple bars on like that tempo of a song and know what to do with it. But she really added so much to it. I love it.
Yeah, her flow really is impeccable, and it fits
so good.
perfectly. But again, I say this probably every time we talk, like you pick the right people who really are needed to tell the story fully. It's never just this random bull squash feature that was just.
What the does that mean? Bull squash?
Yeah, we got rid of bull. And, say bull squash.
Bull
squash. Positions is the album. There's a link in the description below. Please listen to it.
Well, did we talk about Nasty? Did I miss that?
Oh no, we can.
I think we have to. Can't
let's
that
go
one.
back.
The laughs at the top of that record, plus the whistle tone so delicate, really bring to life a different story.
Yeah?
I think so.
What's the story?
I mean, you tell me.
Just giggling, having a good time, making songs. I think that's just what happened in the beginning. I don't think it's any deeper than that, you know? But then again, people will find a way, my fans will find a way to create depth with something that is not that deep. Like, for instance, the loading bar on my website has a little flower in it. And the flower that we were going to use on Twitter next to the positions hashtag, just because it looks cute and is sweet and whatever, the flower matches my earring on the album cover. And the theories that have been crafted behind this flower are astonishing and really creative, and I'm proud of them. But again, alas, it's just an earring, you know? They're like, oh my God, this is a blossom. It represents her emerging from the murky waters, rebirth for a new era. And the divine woman that submerges from the murky waters is the blossom woman. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I am so glad that you think that's what it means. Thank God that's what you think it means. I'm so happy that they're that excited, that they care that much. Is a huge blessing. But it's just an earring.
Positions is the album. You need to hear it if you haven't already. Please, there's a link in the description below. Ariana Grande, I love you with my whole heart.
Okay, do you want to go to a haunted drive-thru tonight? I'll work it out.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, I'll see you both later.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, beautiful human, thanks for watching our full interview, but I get it. Like, a full interview is a lot, so we got a clips channel. We don't expect you to watch the full thing anymore, so we just gave you the highlights. Please subscribe and notifications and all that stuff. Okay, cool. I love you.